The Nifty is still holding about 100 points in the green. Important news coming in from the steel minister. SAIL must meet commitment to supply rails to railways account to annual target, and that is what has taken that stock higher. Must meet commitment to supply rails to the railways account to annual target. Important news coming in from the steel minister out there. Perhaps incremental revenues for SAIL. Importantly, other couple of stocks which are moving higher. We have the pharmaceutical index, which has moved to the high point of the day, led higher by Sun Pharmaceuticals, which is at the high point of the day, and we have Dr. Reddy's too, which is moving with some volumes. But the big news that came in or rather before we talk about the letter to the Tata employees, earlier today we spoke with Sanjay Dutt of Quantum Securities, who says that 2019 is going to be the year of emerging markets, especially India. Also adds that the consumption sector will be very robust in the coming year. Listen in.
We are going to move along with the emerging markets in 2019. And my, very well-researched and considered view is that, which is kind of consensus with quite a few people, that 2019 is going to be the year of the emerging markets, and more so India. We, being a more internal market in terms of having very strong domestic growth itself and not that dependent on exports or the international markets, would be a natural choice for investors worldwide to deploy money. And I think the overriding reason why I think India is poised for a very good year or two ahead is some of the fundamental reforms that are falling in place. I think we're on track for fundamentals shaping up better, earnings shaping up better. So a mix of this is going to give us a very good, investment horizon for the next 2 to 3 years to deploy money.
All right. Now, remember, Tata Group's performance has been mixed, yet it ends 2018 on a stronger and better note. That's the word coming in from its chairman, N. Chandrasekaran, in his annual newsletter to the employees. Now, Chandra says that one Tata policy and the vision of the 3S, simplifying, synergizing and scaling, has worked, and the group has in total spent over $10 billion to deleverage and restructure Tata Group companies. Kritika Saxena is here with the takeaways of that letter. In his annual letter to employees, N. Chandrasekaran, the chairman of Tata Sons, has pointed out some key areas. So let's start one by one on the highlights of this letter. To begin with, N. Chandrasekaran has outlined that in total, the group has committed over 70,000 crore rupees. That's $10 billion in deleveraging and restructuring Tata companies, consolidating holdings and acquiring assets. This is to enhance and carry forward the One Tata and the 3S strategy that N. Chandrasekaran had devised. They have also crossed 10 lakh crore rupees in 2018 alone. Now, to outline what exactly has been done, he gives an example of the aerospace and defense vertical, for instance. That has been consolidated into a single unified entity, and similarly, they are reducing subsidiaries, exiting non-core businesses and aligning operations across the board. Over and above that, he's gone on to give an example of how they are ensuring that they utilize the group's strengths. For instance, Tata Motors, in its electric vehicles push, is partnering with Tata Cap for financing and Tata Power for charging infra network, and that is going to be the strategy in the years to come. Now, as we say hi to 2019, N. Chandrasekaran has said that yes, the new year will bring macro challenges. In fact, he's outlined, and this is very critical, that global liquidity is very clearly tighter than it was earlier, and that is going to be a challenge going forward. 2019 is going to bring with it a set of issues, and with that, of course, is going to be a high political uncertainty with the upcoming elections in India. But he admits that, yes, the performance in 2018 was mixed and there is a lot more work to do ahead. But they are in a better position by the end of 2018 than they were when they started the year.
Kritika, thanks a lot for that. With that, we talk about Jet Airways. The stock has been on a downward spiral from the start of this year, down about 67%. But Naresh Goyal, the chairman of Jet Airways, has also written to his employees, and he says that 2018 has been a tough year due to Brexit, US-China trade war. Goyal adds that the decline in oil prices have given some relief and that the company has rationalized operations on some routes, and this will be an ongoing process. Giving an assurance to the employees, he said that the management is doing everything possible to overcome the challenges faced by the company.
All right, it's time again for a look back as we come to the end of 2018. We are discharging our debt to the nation. Justice Gogoi's words made headlines at the start of 2018, but resonated at the country's apex court through the year. A press conference hosted by 4 senior justices of the Supreme Court of India, where they spoke out against the then Chief Justice Deepak Mishra, brought the workings of the apex court under the lens of every Indian and earned Justice Gogoi the tag of a rebel judge. CNBC TV 18's Ashmit Kumar takes a look at the tumultuous year 2018 has been for Justice Gogoi and the Indian judicial system.
Despite a rich body of work, Justice Gogoi truly hit national headlines in January of 2018 when, in an unprecedented move, he joined 3 other sitting Supreme Court judges to speak out against the then Chief Justice of India, Justice Deepak Mishra. Through cryptic responses, the judges seemed to suggest that then Chief Justice, Justice Mishra, acting under external pressures, was selectively assigning high-profile cases to select judges. This press conference was not the only instance in 2018 when Justice Gogoi took an anti-establishment stance. The next point of clash was the elevation of Justice K.M. Joseph from the Uttarakhand High Court to the Supreme Court. When the government made the elevation difficult, it was seen as payback for Justice K.M. Joseph striking down President's rule in Uttarakhand in 2016. An 8-month-long deadlock ensued, at the end of which Justice Gogoi and other members of the collegium got their way and the government approved Justice Joseph's elevation to the Supreme Court.
But I have a suggestion, a slight modification in today's context. Not only independent judges and noisy journalists, but even independent journalists and sometimes noisy judges.
Justice Gogoi's anti-status quo positions, however, led to speculation that his elevation as the next Chief Justice of India might not go through, even though he enjoyed seniority. There were rumors that instead of nominating the next senior-most judge to the top post, as is the norm, the outgoing Chief Justice, Justice Mishra, might just nominate Justice Sikri. But on the 3rd of October, Justice Gogoi took oath as the 46th Chief Justice of India. He was also the first Chief Justice from the Northeastern region. His next test, however, wasn't far away. The government's decision to buy 36 Rafale fighter aircrafts attracted 4 public interest litigations, and the battleground was Justice Gogoi's courtroom. Justice Gogoi dismissed all the 4 petitions that questioned various procedural aspects of the deal being struck, only to find less than 48 hours later the government itself admitted to factual inaccuracies in its submissions, but blamed it on misinterpretation or ambiguous grammar. Critics have also pointed out various contradictions and inconsistencies in the judgment, and with the portions of the order appearing to have been lifted directly from the government's affidavits, the criticisms have only increased. Given the factual inaccuracies that the government has admitted to, the petitioners have termed the judgment void and planned a move for it to be recalled. Well, all eyes now are on 2019 on Justice Ranjan Gogoi's stance in the high drama in the high-voltage Ram Mandir Ayodhya case scheduled for hearing in January of 2019. Now, keep in mind that the BJP comes fresh off a major setback in the Hindi heartland, and also keep in mind that the 2019 Lok Sabha elections are just around the corner. Some say the stakes in the Ram Mandir battle have never been higher. They also say that this would be a perfect test case for the strong man from Assam, Justice Ranjan Gogoi. In New Delhi, Ashmit Kumar.